By the 9 and 4, welcome to the library for this entry of Intro to the Realms, where we will be discussing in brief the clans of the Rodkin, one of the newest peoples to be discovered and integrated into the wider realms of Jam'mar. I am the recorder, and as my perceptive patrons and regular visitors are more than aware, but for new guests to the library, this shall be but a brief introduction to this collection of warriors, inventors, and so much more. An entry on their strange history, as well as potentially more entries going into detail on the particular clans, their heroes, and their unique technological and alchemic advances will be forthcoming as interest and time allow. So, as always, be sure to make your voice heard and your questions asked. To begin with, there are 5 major clans of Rodkin, each fairly distinct from one another physically as well as in many behavioral or cultural ways as well. Normally, this would see discord and friction in such a conglomerate of peoples. However, the clans of the Rodkin, with their varying talents and abilities, are far stronger as a whole than as the individual clans, and the acknowledgement of this by the leaders and people of the Rodkin has seen them endure many ages without significant civil war or other internal upheaval. While most members of a clan will see themselves naturally lean into a type of work or vocation that is in line with the majority of their clan, exceptions do and will always exist. As Rodkin society is a meritocracy, so long as the Rodkin can do the thing, and at least as well as anyone else, no one is barred from any position or trade by virtue of their clan alone. Procreation across the clans can and does occur as well. However, the children of any such unions will always be of one of the 2 parent clans within a single birthing. And normally this will be the clan of the mother. As stated, there are 5 clans of Rodkin, each sharing characteristics of various rodents. It should be noted, however, that while some comparisons can be made and inferences drawn from this, one should be careful before relying too heavily on such speculation when it comes to the Rodkin. All Rodkin are bipedal by default, although some make great use and speed running on all 4s. Most are keen of ear if not sight, and are often adept at improvisation and quick thinking when pressed. Most are very social, with house and community being an important part of most Rodkins' daily life and often their greater motivations. While the larger and often ponderous nature of the Capyrods, who appear to be much like capybara in appearance, standing 5.5 to 6 foot tall, tends to lend itself to a life of slow wisdom and long, detailed debates and discussions, as they will often see in their common roles as lore masters, elders, and in duties of faith. There are those amongst their number that have no qualms about wading into battle to bring that wisdom to bear in the thunderous fury against the foe of the clans. In most cases, however, they prefer to spend their days contemplating and insisting in the betterment of the clans. The Braverods, beaver-like and slightly shorter but stockier than the Capyrods, while having a short, wide, and flat tail, which is mostly vestigial, are the workhorse of the clans when it comes to crafting, construction, or engineering tasks. Much of a case of the label matching the contents, the Braverods are constant in their labors and in competition with one another within their crafts, often displaying a practical and no-nonsense nature while they are on the job, They are often far more social and outgoing when caught away from their work. Generally far smaller, by 2 or more feet at the least. The rabbit-like harods serve as scouts, messengers, or any other task that prizes speed, stealth, and acute senses above strength and brawn. They will often form loose ties with harods of other areas they travel to, creating a network of information and small package delivery that has served the Rodkin near faultlessly for their entire history. This involves members relaying packages and other mails from locally tied houses to other houses, along the length and breadth of Rodkin society, in order for the cleanest and most efficient means of maintaining communication for their greater people. Between the lumbering caparods and the agile harods in height and size, we find the rat-like bandarods. These are the largest of the clans by number, and tend to be the most varied in their talents and tastes. They are also by far the most naturally aggressive and competitive of the clans, often engaging in duels and contests of honor and pride for relatively little cause. This serves them well as the warriors and soldiers of the clans, displaying strict discipline on the field, with rancor and celebration to match it off the field. Their wider array of talents and interests also see them as the major labor force for many of the clan projects and efforts, often putting into effect the plans of other clan members with the same fervor as they would apply to the battlefield. The final clan of the Rodkin for us to cover today is that of the squads. These fine Rodkin, who stand just a bit shorter and lighter of build than the bandarods, are incredibly sharp of wit and mind, typically serving in the arts of science, magical pursuits, as well as in the performance arts, with traveling bards aplenty making up the ranks of the squads. As such, they are often well informed as to the general history and current events of any area they may frequent with any regularity. Their long and rather full tails, unlike the tails of the bravarods, are prehensile and often used as part of performances and discussions. However, as it lacks any true strength or grip due to the often smooth and slick fur that fills out the tail, it is not capable of wielding weapons or the manipulation of objects. Each clan is a distinct thing in and of itself, but when combined with the talents of the other clans, it is not hard to see why the Rodkin people have been able to not only survive the long ages before contact with the greater realms, but also have been able to make such advances in the areas of science and technology, as well as magical endeavors, even without the presence of stable sources of Chris to use as a base of their technology, like the rest of the realms. The strength they collectively now bring into the realms, along with the other enlightened races, was recognized early with the construction and dedication of the Expeditus Enlightened. This 5,000-mile-long, plant-like vessel now serves as a major jump-off point for adventurers and explorers from the members on board to begin their journeys, fully supported by the robust industries of the Rodkin, as well as those of the other enlightened races. And this is where I shall bring things to a close for this quick entry and look at the clans of the Rodkin. I hope you now have a better understanding of who and what the Rodkin are. Future entries on their technologies, faith, and of course their history, as mentioned, will be forthcoming as interest and time allow. Perceptive patrons, regular visitors, and of course, new guests to the library, I have been, as always, the Recorder, and I thank you for your time, interest, and of course, support of and in the realms of Jam'mar. Until you next make your way back to the library for another entry of Intro to the Realms, be sure to make any of your interests or queries you may have known for those very future entries. And of course, by the 9 and 4, be well, take care of yourselves and each other. If you'd like to contribute to the further exploration and explanation of the realms, please consider leaving a comment, a like, and sharing the video around. I read all the comments and make efforts to reply to each. Thank you for helping to grow the channel, and know I look forward to each and every one of your comments. Other methods of support can be found in the channel's description. Thank you for watching.